Okay, I used to be black. Let's make this clear. I was black. African booty scratcher, African burnt biscuit, midnight, Ethiopian, the kid with the fly on his eyes in the commercial, 11:59, charcoal, Charlie Murphy, crunchy black, Akon. My brother was brown and my sister was light skinned. Caramel, cappuccino, mocha, macchiato, Monica, Tupac. My cousin was sweet, and my mom had a rainbow sticker on her bumper in the 90s. Let's get that out of the way. I was youngest of four, which means I cried a lot. I was short, fat, and black. They called me fat. I cried. They called me black. I cried. I had a stuttering problem. I cried. Now, I cried because I wasn't able to control my emotions, not because I was scared. It wasn't tears of fear. So the youngest of four, I was raised by my oldest brother, who was 7 years older than me, who loved Tupac. From 5 to 6 up until 12, I was black. That's in another video in the same series. My brother told me around 5 or 6 that I had jungle fever, and I cried like I had Ebola and I was about to die. He told me what it means. I calmed down, but this is when it hit me. I was black and Sarah was white. This is before the first grade, so preschool or kindergarten. Sarah was my little sister, and I was about a month or two. Sarah stopped coming to the outings. I asked my big brother what happened to Sarah, and they told me she was sick and in a lot of pain and wasn't going to join us. She was gone. I said without blinking an eye, at least she's no longer in pain. This is the Big Brother, Big Sister program, and school linked us together. I get home, and they run that jungle fever joke again, and I tried to take my brother's head off. I was so mad, I told him Sarah died and I wouldn't see them anymore. I get over it, but it hovers. It hovers around for the next 7 years. I enjoy being a kid. Cruel, mean, mannish, immature, and now, instead of me crying because somebody is making the jokes, I'm the one that's telling the jokes and making other people cry. So I went from being the bully to the bully. I remember you was conflicted. Sometimes I did the same. And then my big brother gets taken away from me violently. I was 12 years old and just lost my teacher that showed me everything. It was my brother that told me that the kids were just making fun of me because they liked me and they, wanted me to do the same back. Like, just write them back, just crack jokes back at them. And it was my brother that taught me, how to ride a bike. It was my brother that told me how to get it out the mud, how to hustle. And like I said, at 12, I just lost him. And I knew exactly how my brother felt when Pac died. It was my first time seeing my brother cry, and my pops too. Before my brother died, I couldn't think about killing someone. After my brother was killed, it was the only thing that was on my mind. Now the black wasn't on me, but it was inside of me. It took me 7 years to get out of it. Separation is an illusion. Everything is connected. I don't like when people say sorry for your loss. For me, don't say sorry unless you did it. In case you punch me, you can say you're sorry. In case you disrespect me, you can say you're sorry. In case you step on my shoes, then you can say you're sorry. Instead, I like people saying, what were they like? Were you close? What do you guys like to do together? These questions make the conversation a lot deeper, and it brings that person right back into the now. Instead of them being gone, they're now with you in this conversation. And like I said, a lot of people don't get to talk about that person because someone says, I'm sorry. And like I said, I heard it a lot, which it just always made me feel some type of way. So I don't like people saying sorry for your loss. It so from this day, it was my goal to go to jail, then to go to prison, then to finish the job for my dad. That's what I was thinking. So I wanted to see the penitentiary right after elementary. That's something that I feel wholeheartedly. These foster homes are run away and never do miss them. I did this back in 2003 and 2008. It took me 5 minutes to get into trouble and 5 years to get out. While there, I was out of sight and out of mind. It was in jail that I questioned God for the first time. I said, God, why'd you do this to me? I wasn't that bad. I went to church 7 days a week. I wasn't as bad as the others I was running with. Why me? Why did you do this to me? In a cell by myself, I got the answer loud and clear. God said, you said you was going to jail. You said you was going to prison. You said you was going to kill the man that killed your brother. Now that you're in jail, on your way to prison, you blame me. I didn't do this. This was your plan, not mine. It was at that moment I cried for the first time since my brother had died. And then I cried for all the stupid stuff I did to get here. I was in ACDC. A guard came to me and checked on me. I told him I was okay. He asked me when my brother died. I said 3 years ago. After that, God said, what will people say about you when you are gone? And since then, I've been working on just that. I call this my first great awakening, when I realized I was in control of my reality by thinking. I know the universe works mentally. When I was locked down, I wrote this song. This for my dead homies, especially my dead bruh, for the ones that know what it takes to be locked up. It's only a matter of time before we reunite in heaven. Until then, know that LT is still living. This for my dead homies, especially my dead brother. Man, it hurts to see tears coming from my mother. It's only a matter of time before we reunite in heaven. Until then, know that LT is still living. I seen a lot of stuff. I did a lot of things. Never cried once, and I've been through a whole lot of pain. If I could turn back time, I'd tell my bro about Tremaine. Cause only God knows how much I really miss the man. I tell Rodney to let Marquis hold his dope. Now he's bucking for a long time. They ain't no fucking joke. I tell Eni, watch your back. Niggas trying to do you in. I tell Tempu, don't run, man. Your heart's just too big. I tell Tony, wait a second before you run that light. He got hit by a bus dog and that wasn't even right. His car flew through a bar and he died on the scene. I tell my main D-Fried, don't even shoot that fiend. I tell him 40 years, nigga, that's a long time. And Marvin Sawyer, he gonna be the one to drop the dime. I wanna be out, but I wanna be with my homies. Cass and Akon ain't the only ones that's feeling lonely. Every time I look, somebody that I know is in the paper. Death took Travis, took Tony, it took that nigga Tater. It took Granny, Eni, Taymon, that was my nigga. Sometimes I wanna pull a gun to my head and pull a trigger, but I won't do that, that'll make the block hot be. So when I die, don't cry, just get the nigga that shot me. This for my dead homies, especially my dead bro, for the ones that know what it takes to be locked up. It's only a matter of time for we reunite in heaven, but until then, know that LT is still living. And then, like I said, that's the song that I had made when I was locked up. And at first, I was on this side. I was light and bright, and I was forced to see things at an early age that made me grow quick. Death, pain, hurt, trauma, drama, loss, fear. I was still okay because my heart was light. After 12, it got so heavy and dark, I didn't know how much I weighed until I had to pick myself up. Shit on my mind and it's heavy. I'll tell you in pieces because it's way too heavy. Over on the other side was me in jail, 23-1 in the system, the village, YDC, foster care, YDC, prison, destruction, despair, disappointment. I lost my way when when I had nothing on my mind but revenge. Growing up in church, I know it's not mine, it's the Lord's. That's the first sign I missed. After I was driving too fast to stop, so all the signs, I ignored them. So of course, I fell on my face and I woke with a scar. Another mistake living deep in my heart. I can admit that I did look like y'all. So I was hoping to get this up on the 2nd because it was a portal day. Shout out to Vibrant Numerals. Shout out to New Beginnings and New Nation. Love, many, trust for you. Got the merch. So in the beginning, I was on this side, and like I said, I was hovering around this circle after the passing of Sarah, and then the song, you just heard all of the other things that happened. And then when my brother died at 12, like I said, was pulled into this, forced, and this right here takes you to this side right here. And as you know from the song and the story, my main goal was to go to jail, to go to prison, and finish the job. So I was over here doing a lot of stupid stuff. I could do videos on just tons of stupid stuff I did over here. And I'd be lying in case I said I didn't have fun, and I'd be lying in case I said I wasn't scared. And it was in jail when I started going back to the source, meaning God, and talking to God, that I was able to get back into this portal or doorway, and I started, living the rest of my stint in jail over on this side, not in this area, but still in here, meaning reading the book and exercise, keeping my spirit in, because I wasn't going to get out of jail until 2008, and I knew that from 2005, which I was watching a video of New Beginnings, and they talked about Hurricane Katrina and how Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005, and that's the year that I got committed to till I was 18. So in 2008, I got out of jail, and Kendrick says since 2009 I had this bitch jumping. So up until 2013, I didn't know Kendrick Lamar, and I felt like we had similar backgrounds. Like, we lived the same life, but in two different places. Like, their hell was in LA, and my hell was in the South. So either way, we still have the American experience, but we just have different ways of seeing the reality or the matrix, which is the environment that we were brought up in. His was a Mad City, and Mad City wasn't out, so I couldn't have the words that, like I said, depicted my reality so much with the art of peer pressure, and just how the art of peer pressure helped me get through this side over here, and I wasn't so alone. So my cousin killed my brother, and it didn't take me long to find out that the people closest to you will hurt you first. My cousin looked like me and Biggie. My brother looked like Tupac and Dre. So skin folk, kinfolk, humankind, or humankind and Maine went out the window as soon as my brother was murdered. It was like the people closest to you would hurt you first, and those people so happened to look like me. And when I was in second or third grade, my teacher told me that everybody's prejudiced, and I raised my hand. I was like, I'm not prejudiced. Most of the people I don't like look like me. And he was like, that's racist. I didn't say everybody's racist. I said everybody's prejudiced. Prejudice just means to prejudge someone before you get to know them. Have you ever done that? And I was like, yes, I have. And from that standpoint, everybody's prejudice made all the sense in the world. It was only until later that I found out discernment. And discernment is the ability to judge well. So when I wear the shirt, love many, trust few, it hits a lot harder, because now that you know the story, that I love everybody and I don't trust anybody. But I do know that eventually, one day you're going to show your true colors. And you can act for so long until one day you're gonna show that you're phony. So I just let people paint their own picture, and I don't judge. Like I said, I don't judge them before they paint their own picture or write their own story, and I won't write it for them. This is the series. Half y'all don't know KDOT, and like I said, separation is illusion. Everything is connected. High power.